welcome to this week's episode of the Melbourne Racing Preview, and I'm joined as usual by Trevor Lawson. How are you, Trev?
Good man.
Yeah, just back to Caulfield tomorrow. Bit of a home deck for you. You walk the track, or that will be today. We're recording Friday
I'll walk
morning.
it today, yeah, but it might be a bit irrelevant. I said it posted to 5.
Yep.
I'm tipping it's going to be 19 degrees or something today in Melbourne, so I'm tipping it'll get to good 4. But looking at the forecast tomorrow, they're tipping between 10 and 20 mil of rain.
Right.
During the morning and the afternoon. So, a lot can change.
Yeah, very much
A lot
so.
will sort of change with the markets as well, depending on what sort of happens.
Okay, so yeah, possibly a bit of a sit and wait meeting when it comes to betting.
Yeah, and sometimes it just depends where the rain comes from. If the rain sort of comes along the coastline, Caulfield can tend to miss it.
Yep.
But if it sort of comes from sort of up higher, sort of through the middle of Victoria, we can sort of, it comes sort of down from Ballarat, we sort of get that. So it'll just be a matter of, waiting till tomorrow and sort of looking at the radar and sort of seeing where the rain's coming from, and then sort of working out what's going to happen, and then sort of, playing it race to race.
No worries. All right. We'll jump in and have a look at the quaddie legs. Race 6 is the Burt Bryan handicap. It's over the mile. Old mate Sosibon, $3.10 favourite from Hangman at $3.50. Mask of Time, $7.50. So You Win at $8.50. And Maha Amadeus at $9 with Top Sport. How does your market look?
So at the moment, like, these are sort of just rough markets, as I say, because I'm not sure what's going to happen with the weather. I might have some horses in the market at the moment that, tomorrow I'll sort of definitely sort of push right out of the market. So basically at the moment I've sort of got Stacey Bond and Hangman equal favourites. Stacey Bond sort of racing consistently. It sort of won the other day quite impressively. It's been pretty consistent horse the last couple of preps. But it sort of does seem to go well for senior riders.
Right.
So you can see in this column here, the last time an apprentice rode it was January 2019. It did run second, but sort of a bit of a seniors horse. And Thomas Stockdale goes on. So the last start, sort of Zara got the best out of it. Before that, sort of Luke Nolan had been riding it. Both sort of strong riders. So just want to have another sort of think about it. Also, last start was on a good track. Its figures on sort of, softish tracks aren't as good.
Does it put its non-winning ways behind it, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, it's just, as I say, since sort of Hayes has got it, it's only won 3 races, but it has run some good races. And you can see in this column here, the class, like it's, so from February last year, it's run, Group 1, Group 2, Group 1, Group 1, Group 1, Group 3, Group 1, Group 1. So it's not a Group 1 horse. So if you sort of take those, runs out, it has been pretty consistent. It's won a listed race, it's won a Group 3, and it won an open race the other day. So, it's probably been run out of its class a little bit.
Okay.
But, it's sort of won on a slow 7. That was first up at Flemington. Flemington's wet tracks don't tend to be as sort of bad as others. So, if the track sort of got soft, you sort of might sort of go a bit risky on it. But others in the race sort of got Hangman was good the other day. Just little thing with it, it's sort of is a stayer, and it was good over 1,700, and it's come back to 1,600. But he has put the blinkers on it, which will sort of keep it a bit sharp.
Right.
But it's sort of got one slow track run at Terang where it walked in. That's a couple of years ago now. Excuse me. So, but other than that, it sort of hasn't really seen any wet tracks. The other ones are sort of Muhammad Dias. I'd sort of, I'd sort of basically, I'm not sure if it's going that well anyway. I sort of want to mark it as long as I can, and if the track is wet, I'll be sort of getting sort of stuck into it. Mask of time, conversely, if it is wet, I'll probably mark it shorter.
Okay.
Ran well in Sydney 2 starts ago. So sort of at the moment, I've sort of got around $10, $11. Could mark it a bit shorter. Vaucluse Bay's been freshened up. So it's had 40-something days off. It can handle the wet. I thought it was sort of something that sort of had some sort of chance. But so at the moment, even race, and just depending on the conditions, sort of the market could change a little bit.
All right, no worries. We'll jump into race 7, which is benchmark 84 over the 1,800 metres. Shot of Irish, $4.80 for top sport from both Aussie Nugget and Grinzing a Star, and Nudge Bar as well at $6.50, and Sentimentalists and Think We're Due at $7. What about you at this stage?
Yeah, well, this is another race that could just change dramatically. Aussie Nugget, he's a horse that we had a big collect off his last run last prep at
Yep.
Sandown. Sort of marked him short odds, and he sort of got the money for us around $4. He'd had sort of his first 2 runs was sort of a bit lackluster. Second up at Sandown on the wet track, he sort of looked to struggle, and then he ran at Bendigo and sort of half fancied himself in there. The market he sort of blew him out in the market, but he was too good. But I think he was coming back on a dry track. So, going to 1,800, I think he's looking for that, and I've sort of marked him favourite. But if the rain comes, I don't want to be on him at all. So
Right.
it's one of those sort of things again. It's just, as I say, he's just wet. I think he's a top of the ground horse. So Grinzinger Stars, slightly, it's similar. You can see here most of it's wet track run. Well, it's first up it ran on a heavy track. The other day it was good behind Aussie Nugget. Aussie Nugget sort of comfortably held it late, but again it was on a good track. When it comes to a wet track here, so it's another one you sort of probably wouldn't be going looking for. Nudge Bar will be okay. It was sort of okay at Caulfield 2 starts ago on the heavy. It's sort of got some hope, and then Shot of Irish is on the quick backup. And I sort of mentioned on the review the other day that it went super, but it was sort of favoured by the bias. But you get another wet track here, and there's nothing wrong with the inside. Well, it's going to be hard to beat again. I mean, the only thing with it, slight query is it is going to 1,800 for the first time, but depending on the map, I sort of just haven't quite mapped it yet. So I wanted to wait for the scratchings. It could get a very easy lead, so it might only be like a 1,600 metre race again. So if it's going to be a wet track, it'll be the one, sort of I'll be trying to find.
Yeah, right. And looks like it's top of the market at the moment. So hasn't been a lot of money for it though, by the look of it. So I think a lot of punters probably waiting and seeing how things look tomorrow.
Yeah. It's sort of it's interesting. You go to the bureau site and it says 10 to 20 mil, and then on the bureau on the site they have another site, water and land site, which is a little bit more accurate sometimes, and they're basically just saying 5 mil. So
right.
It's just hit and miss.
Makes things easy.
Yeah, well, it's just Melbourne weather for you. So, we don't get a lot of rain. I think a lot of people complain. I think we get, a lot of rain. We get a lot less rain than other places, but we're just not sure when it's going to rain.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, we'll have a look at race 8, which is it's a handicap over the 1,100. Look at Top Sports Market, fairly wide open. Coruscate at $5. Vainstream, William Thomas, both at $6. and Eduardo and News Girl at $8. How's your market?
So pretty wide open in this race. There's a couple of scratchings. At the moment, Eduardo, I could sort of forgive it first up. Worked on the speed, and it was one of those reverse races where the back markers got over the top. It had trolled before that run not that well, I didn't think. And now she's trolled it twice since, and it's trolled good. So I'd say it's fit now. So I'm sort of happy to forgive it and sort of rate it up. Does get an apprentice jock on who hasn't sort of ridden a lot of winners of late. But I think it's sort of slight sort of overs. William Thomas was sort of ran to its best the other day. It was suited, as I say, by the tempo. It'll just depend on sort of the tempo here. Problem with these races at the moment, there's 3 scratchings, but there's 6 emergencies, so there's still another 3 horses to come out of the race. So they sort of can be hard to sort of map early.
Yep.
So it'll just sort of depend on the speed there. Vainstrom's going well, but he probably doesn't want it too wet. He's sort of last 3 runs have been on dry tracks. So he's one, again, he can go either way. You sort of be one that you sort of half want to be on, or one that you'll sort of put the pen through. Tabasam was fair first up in Sydney, in Adelaide. Strips a bit of fitter here. Hasn't really seen anything worse than a 5. Oh, sorry, he did win on a 7, won his maiden on a 7 at Cranbourne. But I think it'll handle its by Tavistock. So it can slightly improve. News Girl goes terrific here. It's got a terrific record at Caulfield. But again, most of its best runs are on good tracks. Esperance drawn barrier 1. It's probably probably won't be a great barrier by now, especially if it's a wet track. If we do get the rain, you'd think it would have chopped up on the inside by now. So It's probably not a positive. So sort of Eduardo, I can sort of possibly try and be fined it. Crystal Dream of the top weight's got a lot of weight. And again, most of these horses are sort of looking for drier sort of top tracks.
Okay. And just on the maps, obviously members get your maps on race morning, post all the scratchings, so it's easy to see there what you're expecting.
Yeah, normally I sort of half map them now, but as I say, the problem is you're going to, if you map, when I've done this, there was no scratchings, and then eventually you're going to, take out 6 horses. So, it's just easier sort of doing them a bit closer to the race, a bit closer to, tomorrow. To the scratching.
No worries. And, we'll just have a look at the last race, which is the handicap over the 1,000, the Ian Miller handicap. Absolute Flirt, $3.30 favourite for Top Sport from the Astrologist at $5.50. Galenas at $6.50. The General at $8. Any thoughts here?
Well, this market will change dramatically because the bottom 2 horses, Magic, which is sort of $12, and Galenas, which is $7, they're due to run at Cranbourne tonight, so they'll come out of the market. Again, I think this is a sort of wide sort of race. I've got Absolute Flirt favourite at the moment, but I sort of rated her up. Sort of haven't put some couple of bonuses in, but got too far back the other. Got too far back the other day and sort of ran on okay from a better draw here. Looks a bit short at $3.60. Might even get a bit shorter with the bottom 2 coming out. Not so sure if I want to take really short odds about it. Another one, Strasbourg's an interesting runner. He was well supported. He ran well on a Group 2 behind Darlison. He got beat just under 2 lengths by Darlison first up down the straight, Flemington last spring when Peter Snowden had him. excuse me. Then he was welfare chair was sort of $13 in a Group 3 behind Alligator Blood, and then he went to. And he sort of drifted out again behind Anaheed and got beat 6 lengths. He sort of failed. He resumed at Warwick Farm, got a long way back, and then in February, and then since then he's switched to Anthony Freedman. He's had 2 jump outs there. His last jump out at Mornington was pretty impressive. He's sort of interesting runner here. The second horse, Moy Shoy, it's entered in Adelaide.
Okay.
So it's another one that may come out, as is actually Hex the Stars just come out. So Hex the Stars one's just come out.
Yep.
But I thought if Moy Choi ran here, it was okay the other day. It was okay on debut, won its first 2 starts, and does go to Damien Oliver. It sort of had had a 3 kilo apprentice on it when it won at Mornington, had a 4 kilo apprentice on it at Sale.
Okay.
So gets a strong rider on it. So I thought it was one that was sort of good odds. The astrologist is first up for 300 days, I think.
Right.
So the market will be a guide there. It seems short odds at 550. I wouldn't be able to get it anywhere near those odds.
Yeah, it does seem short, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, which it's trolled okay, but these sort of horses, they can be sort of 550 now, and they can get to jump time can be $20 if they're not fancied sort of things. So you can tend to run with the market there a bit. I did it for Loves. Pretty consistent horse. Had 3 starts for sort of 2 wins and a second. It was good the other day behind the Boom horse. Marked Assassin. Mark Crusader. It was sort of around second to it. Mark Crusader was sort of held up and probably should have beaten it by a lot further than a length, but it was okay. Gets an apprentice on here, which sort of might pull back a little bit. And the General had 2 runs at Cranbourne over 1,000. Just tend sometimes to find that the 1,000-metre races at Cranbourne don't really hold up for some reason. It seems to be sort of a race in itself.
Okay.
And then the other day, it sort of didn't have much luck. It sort of got held up, and so it can improve. And the 14's been running quick times. It's sort of at Cranbourne, but again, at Cranbourne over 1,000 again. So, sort of got in the market. So this is a race, again, a bit like the others. It's just one of those things with this meeting. You're just not sure with the weather, what's going on. Again, Young Lamb, you'd want on a dry track. Absolute Flirt does seem, pretty short to me at the moment, but, I've sort of got it in rough figures at the moment around the $4.80, but there's a couple more bonuses to go in. I might be able to get a bit short of it. Not sure if it's going to be a great betting race. And as I say, the interesting one's Strasbourg, but, it's 1,000 metres. It might, I could see it winning, and then again, it could be one of those ones that just could run 20s on Betfair late, just saying it's not there. It's just, it's needs, it's in need of the run. And as I say, the bottom 2 are out. Will probably come out.
All right. Well, I guess from what I'm hearing, tomorrow it's going to be a bit of a day of keep the rated price in front of you, watch the weather, and we'll try to navigate our way through a day.
Yeah. It's just one of the things that's sort of a bit hard to sort of look at today. It's a beautiful day, and you're thinking, why would I be doing it for a wet track? But and as I say, then it mightn't rain. So as I say, you're looking at 2 forecasts. One's saying sort of, 100% chance of getting 1 mil and a good chance of getting 5, and the other one's saying between 10 and 20, and they're both produced by the same site. So, so just so it's just closer to sort of scratching. Down tomorrow morning, we'll know a lot more. Go look at the radar, see what's happening, and then take it from there.
Sounds good. All right, we'll look forward to getting that tomorrow, and otherwise we'll catch up on Monday and have a bit of a chat about how the meeting went.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers.